Hello everybody and welcome to our what is going to be epic. An epic Ask Me Anything. Yep. I've got the beautiful Matthew here with me.
Hello.
Games down along with SEO Cavatori, and we are going to do a whistle stop tour of all things epic. We've got some questions that have come in. Post them. We've got our beautiful assistant Elliot behind the cameras who will be shouting some out when we've run out. But before we get stuck in, I'm going to give you a quick little roundup of where we're up to with Epic Warpath, and then Matt will talk a little bit about what we tried to achieve with the game. So everyone's got a nice overview at a base level, and then we'll start diving into some of the more bespoke questions. So firstly, let me deal with it. This has been something of an epic project. I think we're first going to launch it in retail in October 2023 with 2 armies and release them over time. We heard rumours of another company doing something similar at the same time, so we slowed it down. And then we actually went out to our audience, to everybody, and said, listen, we really want to make this, we're really excited by it, but obviously it's going to be a huge commitment. Are you guys up for it? We got a resounding yes. Resounding yes, and it was so we pressed on, sculpted 4 armies, 4 sets of reinforcements. We didn't have super heavies at that point, did we? No. We had the big things, tanks, lots of tanks, and we put it up on Kickstarter, expecting our usual kind of 250, 200, 250, 4 armies, away we go. £400,000 later, and a lot of after pledges, and we've now got 8 armies, 8 reinforcement packs, 16 super heavies, because we realised super heavies were cool and what made it. So took a little while longer than we thought. We thought sculpting small things on a sprue would be much easier than sculpting 28mm. Again, we were wrong. When you see them, which we'll show you in a second, they are absolutely gorgeous. But getting the feeds so every single one of them fills perfectly was tough, was a challenge. There was big numbers, there was lots in the after pledge. So for those of you that are still waiting to kickstart for your Kickstarter pledge, at this point, about 75 to 80% of all pledges have had something. In the US, where there was big pledges, or we have shipped complete pledges, we prioritised those before the tariffs kicked in. They've got 1 or 2 reinforcement units to come, and 1 or 2 sprues to come that weren't in at the time when the tariffs came and changed everything. We've shipped almost all of the UK. Have had something, unless you've got a very specific vermin army with a vermin reinforcement pack and vermin dice. And we're still waiting, the dice are going to arrive tomorrow and the vermin reinforcements in about a week's time. So unless you've got a very strongly themed and a relatively small order, you should have had a big pile of stuff. This week we're working through all the Europeans. We're just checking a few of them had missed their option to select their own language. So we're just making sure that they are getting the book they want. So if they've put what book they wanted, it's on its way. We're checking with the others, and they'll be shipped by the end of this week, Monday, Tuesday next. Which means almost everybody should have all of their pledge, or almost all of their pledge this week, definitely by the end of next. It'll be shipped from us by the end of next. And then we're going to move on to the retail range. So all the bags will have almost everything. Anything you don't have will be things like the reinforcements for the vermin, which are not coming out to retail for the best part of 4 months, 6 months, something in that order of magnitude. So what's coming out to retail is the basic first 4 armies: Enforcers, Asterians, Plague.
That's right, yeah.
I said Enforcers and Forge Fargans, I have, and their reinforcement packs and a couple of their super heavies. So those first 4 armies are coming out. So firstly, thank you for your patience. It has been a monstrously large and hugely complex project, probably the hardest one we've ever done, and certainly right up there with the first Dead Zone, which we really made a hash of, and Firefight. So it's been hard work. We appreciate your patience. Everyone should have something by the end of next week, and everyone will have everything within 4 weeks. So thank you for that. Second tidy up point is just the STLs. There's a couple that just need better supports and corrections. The Hornet needs tidying, and this was a question from Dane Dolenk.
Vane. Yeah.
Vane Dolenk, can't read my own writing, the Hornet STL. all STLs will be updated and fixed by next Wednesday. So go back on Wednesday, we're going to put the whole lot up as a one big drop, and they'll be done by next Wednesday. So again, you can go off and get your prints going there. Okay, so that's saying thank you to those people that have supported us, backed us, and supported us to make 8 sprues plus a building sprue, make this rule book.
Yep.
So just talk everyone through a little bit about what the basic of the game is, and then I'll do a bit on the factions and we'll go from there.
So I think it's fair to say when we tried Warpath in the past, I think it was, I guess, a little bit of a clash with Firefight. It's like, which game do I play? They're both in the same scale. They both share most
Warpath,
of the rules.
when it first came out, was a 28 mil, but you ranked up your squads on square bases, and you get 5 28 mil figures on it.
Yeah, and looking at that, and then looking at this, you think, why were they never that size to start with?
Well, because 28 mils are true. I think there's a question about that later.
Yeah.
Right? Wow, you're such a lunatic, Renton.
And so I think we've kind of always felt that at one point we were going to come back to Warpath and say, okay, it is going to be on a smaller scale, but a bigger scale in terms of what you're trying to achieve on the tabletop. And then that would give us Dead Zone Skirmish, Firefight, 28 mil. And then
Squad
mass
based.
battles, as Warpath. When we came to design the game, I wanted it to feel like the games that we probably all grew up with playing, but with a modern twist. So go back to some of those ideas, some of the feelings we had of playing those games, but with some modern mechanics. Some of the Mantic DNA, bring that in so that it felt like Dead Zone, felt like Firefight, and obviously with our own aliens and everything else. And I think we've managed to achieve that. I think it definitely feels like a Mantic game, and it feels like you're in the Warpath universe. Yeah,
because everyone knows I have the attention span of a gnat, and I can play it, and I like it. I really like it. I love the command tokens going down, then the reveal, but then I go, you go, I go, you go. So it's a constantly changing battlefield. You're not taking a pounding for 20 minutes, then pounding someone for 20 minutes. You're always in the game because you're either shooting or being shot at.
Yeah.
And the joy of committing to your instructions, your commands early, and then having to use them as the battlefield develops through the turn, I think is a really cool mechanic and kind of reflects some of the fog of war.
Yeah, and I think as with any game system, the bigger the models become, the more granular you come about those models. That the rules and the mechanics are all centered around that character's skills, how they behave, etc. As the scale comes down and the size of the army becomes bigger, you abstract away, and it becomes more about how your army is going to operate on the battlefield, which is why you always end up with command orders and your commanders and stuff. And it becomes more about that cohesive
more strategic
mechanic.
Isn't it? I mean, at Dead Zone, the single guy has equipment, there's one of 8 of them in the squad, and they've got a role to play, and they've got to play that role.
Yep.
When you get up to this helicopter view, it really is about this big sweeping moments. And we play it on the same size game as we did 6x4, the same as a Kings of War game or a Firefight game. But by shrinking the soldiers down to, 1/3 the size, it allows that the battlefield looks entirely and feels entirely different,
Absolutely.
taking objectives and everything else.
Yep.
And it is a visual hobby. So we did the Kickstarter, we got first phenomenal and fantastic support, and that unlocked essentially 8 factions. And I think one of the things that makes this game really compelling, against that other crap, Sarah, is that there is a real choice in the armies, and each army plays very differently. I think we've captured the flavour. So out here in front of us, we've got the Enforcers.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what Enforcers are, Matt.
So Enforcers are kind of, I guess they're the super soldiers of the human empire, so the GCPS. You obviously got the GCPS themselves with the corporations, and they've got their kind of private armies and things. But these are the Council of 7 who rule the whole GCPS. These are their super soldiers. So these are the best armoured, the best equipped, and the most elite of the humans. And that's what we've represented here. So they've got the best tech. They're very command orientated. They can go off and execute commands without commanders. They're very well trained. So
everyone else needs that commander figure within 6-12 inches.
Yeah, they don't necessarily need that. I think this is always the place where you land, where it's like, well, I don't want to go in the nuance of something else. I don't want to learn the quirks of this particular army. I'm just going to go with these because this is easy to learn, easy to play.
And it's a starter army, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
The Battle of Provox, they're there. Plague, this is the plague, this is the outbreak, this is something that keeps popping up on planets. Sometimes, they're dead zones. Dead zones mean that no one's getting in or no one's getting out. Whenever there's a plague outbreak or any other Xeno outbreak, the Council of Seven whacks a containment protocol on the area, often affectionately known as dead zones. Plague is one of those kind of races. One of the other alien or slightly more mysterious races that we've got.
Well, we've got the Forge Fathers, who are, I guess, space dwarfs, if you like. Yeah. So they're your miners and typical tanks, heavy armoured, slow moving, very stoic. We've got our Asterians, so they're quite enigmatic, lithe. They often species that don't really like to go onto the battlefield themselves because there aren't that many of them, so they send down their robots and their avatars and things like that to
one of those is always bothered me. They live a long time, there's not lots of them, and then you see any move with them, they're just dying in their droves, you know. Absolutely. So they actually just send ciphers down, don't they? They send mannequins, marionettes and things. So they sit up there. Now there is a feedback loop. It does hurt when your marionette dies, so you can't just get another one and zap them in. But so we've got Asterians, you've got Forge Fathers, we've got
Plague, yep, and then
Plague.
Of course, one of the great opportunities that not just the Kickstarter gave us, but going to this scale, was that we can explore not just within existing factions and new units and big tanks and stuff like that, which would be really hard to do at 28 mil, but it gave us a chance to look at whole new factions, like so the Nameless. So we dived into that. We've had the Nameless, and we've explored that in Star Saga and in Dead Zone. Everyone's always been crying out for it for Firefight. We skipped that, yeah, and we've gone straight to Warpath. But that immediately gave us a chance to design them at every level, from the super heavies all the way down, the medium tanks and the lot. And then for our other armies, it gave us a chance, as I said, to explore vehicles at different scales, different types of units, because you want to represent all of those things in a big battle.
And then the final two, we've got the Marauders. These are orcs in space. So all of them have got a stepping on point. You've got GCPS, which is your basic human trooper, Enforcer, your elite trooper, Marauders, orcs, Forge Fathers, dwarfs, Asterians, elves, and then we've got the Plague and the Nameless, which are a bit more Mantic-esque. So we'll start doing some questions. Elliot, is there anything that's a kind of basic question that you've got in there? I've got some that were posted up on Facebook earlier and some of the other sites where we've got questions. No, I'm just trying to kind of get some of the basic ones first, and then we'll go on to move on to some of the more esoteric and punchy ones. So, are you?
There's been a few questions about Wave 2 getting to retail.
Okay.
People are excited to be buying the next 4-2.
Yeah, okay, so I think that's a good question.
You'll have to repeat that for...
Okay, so the question was about what's the release schedule for the whole game? And what we're actually doing is, at the end of this month, September, we're shipping the Battle for Provox, the building pack, and the first 4 retail armies out. And then we're going to be following that up a month or so later with 2 more factions, and then a couple of months after that, the final 2 factions. And that's just so that the retailers can manage their stock and bring it in and sell it through and continue to recruit. Sometimes if you go too much too early, it's a bit overwhelming for them. So the first of the second wave will be going up for pre-order fairly shortly. And then the final phase will be coming just after that. But everything out within 6 months of here. And then what we're going to do is continue to support it through print on demand and STLs and potentially resin, depending on what the demand is. All we'll be doing there is, if it's relatively low demand, we'll print it for you and send it out. If it's much higher demand, then we'll knock it into resin and get it made. So as you want to take it.
And we've got the so our rules committee, who I put together as I was finishing this book to help me just balance some things up and test and check it all over. They've written for us, obviously with collaborating with us, the kind of the mid-range tanks for every army. So we've got the super heavies, we've got a lot of the smaller stuff. We had less of the mid-range stuff, so we've got a whole bunch of those which are in sculpting at the moment. So that way, so
ongoing support.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's it's a game we love, and we're gonna be. I think between Halo, which I think is the best sci-fi skirmish game, low model count skirmish game, Kings of War, which I think is the best rank and flank mass battle fantasy game, and I think this is cut and dried a million miles, and I will put it up against any epic scale game, any sci-fi epic game. I'll take on anyone, anytime, any place, anywhere. I think it's absolutely knockout. So I think we've got 3 games, all of which we're going to support. We also love Dead Zone and Firefight. We also have other games we're supporting, but I think these 3 are brand new, or will be shortly. Watch this space. But Halo and Firefight, Warpath are brand new and in absolute tip-top shape with world-class plastics. We'll be showing some of those off, but those of you that haven't seen them, we'll put a couple of those out here. Up in a week or 2, and I'm seeing it online on Facebook, the speed that people are getting armies. It's quite frightening, quite honestly, but there we are. It's great fun, and I'll show you just what the type of things we have to wrestle with. So this is the Forge Father sprue, and this Forge Father sprue is actually a miscast, and right on it, I nicked one when it came out. There is, let me just find out where it is, and then I'll point to it right here. The top of his hammer is missing. And you inject the plastic here, and it's got to run into every single little cavity, every single bit. Anyway, it doesn't run, you lose the detail, or you get a miscast. This just didn't get enough plastic into that one tiny bit there, and we spotted it, and the guys recut the tool and put another feed on it, and now you can get it. And we've done that, on all those models, on all those sprues, on everything, to make sure that every single part of it is absolutely first class, world class, and we've made that mistake in the past, letting things out. We weren't happy with them. We don't do that no more. So,
just to cap that question off, people are asking, will Epic Warpath be in brick and mortar stores?
100%, absolutely. So, yeah. So the question is, will Epic Warpath be in brick and mortar stores? Absolutely. That's why we've done this beautiful range of packaging. If you back the Kickstarter, you got it in a special everything box where we could just sticker it up, so we weren't having to wait on things like that. But here is that's the retail range. It's going to be in stores from October, so we're getting into stores in October, and it'll all be getting there. Beautiful looking range. It'll also be available for all of the big online retailers, and we've specifically gone to ones in the US, and we've gone to ones in Europe, and we've got a number in the UK as well, all of which will have the access to the whole range, including the super heavies, including the reinforcement packs, because we know that if you're living in the US, you might not want to buy it internationally, so you can just go to Troll Horde Games or XYZ Games, click. A few days later, the whole range is there available for you, and we expect them to be stocking the whole range ad nauseum forever, and we'll keep replenishing them. So, big retail launch coming soon. Okay, so Arthur Monteith Carr was being a little bit cheeky, so he first asked us, when are we getting Hips Rebs? But we can't answer that because that's not a Warpath question, is it?
No.
So sorry. He did ask us, how do we make them so small? And he gave a few suggestions, but I had to tell him that I think we...
Oh, yeah. In the oven, yeah.
Yeah, so we have some magic dust. So we made them all in 28mm, put the magic dust on, and then shrunk them down. Is there going to be any event or OPs? We don't have any event. We don't have any organised play planned for this, and by that we mean trade store packs, because Halo's gone out to 500 retail stores around the world, and this is going to be going out to a fraction of that number, and therefore doing store packs isn't worthwhile, and the stores that it's going to know what to do with it. But we are absolutely keen for people who want to start running the Clash of Kings Warpath. There'll be support there. We'll be interested in getting some nationals going and getting people playing. We think this is a grown-up game. This is for the grognards amongst us. And so I think you know what you're doing, and it's your gaming group game, and it's there. And I'm sure from the community people will start.
Well, one of the things that the RC looked at quite early was the ideas around tournament packs. So I know they've been thinking about that as suggestions to put out. So, if you're going to start a tournament, think about these things, and here's how you could run them.
Okay, fine. So there is going to be those things. Warpath, I think is. I'm trying to I had it all lined up. I'll read some of these paper ones, and you can do this one again. Mr. Filbert asked about novels. We've got the Battle for Frovox here. What are our plans for other sci-fi novels?
Well, so Wings Azar, who do our novels for us, they did the short story compilation there for Frovox. They're also about to re-release an edited version of First Strike, which was an early Vermin book that we did, which has got some extra material in it as well. And the sequel to that, I believe, has been written and is probably in editing now. So we are starting to get some traction on the Warpath book. So it's not particularly, specifically epic, because it's set in the Warpath universe, but with that is starting to gain some traction now. So there will be some books coming out for sure.
I've just realised there's actually two feeds of questions going on, so I'm going to go to this one. We've got Anthony Holmes. This was when they were asking about what time it will be in Australia, because it was yesterday when I said it's going to be tomorrow. So I think you'll be the year after the yesterday of tomorrow. You've got all of that going live then. What have we got here? Dan Zaremski. When are the other build guides going to be available? So just tell people what the build guides are, where they can find them, and when the other 4 are coming. So
build guides are we're putting together for core armies, reinforcements, and super heavies. So faction by faction. It's basically a colour guide. So render of the models, which models you need to assemble onto a base like this, or a super heavy like this. How they go together. They're colour coded, so you can see all the different parts. We've done the first 4 for the first 4 armies, the ones that are going to retail. We're working on the other ones now, in line with the STLs. They should be done by Wednesday next week. So Wednesday next week, big red letter day. So we'll drop the other 4 of those for those last 4 factions. Stephen Hallowich, any plans to introduce more flyers to the game, like fighter jets? I think it's a bit like medium tanks, isn't it? It's a second wave thing. Yeah, and I think it'll be one of those things where we look at, does it fit the army? Is the army lacking it and needs it? So I think it'd be, once people start playing and we start getting feedback, we'll start definitely looking at those things. And it's from is it cool to put on the table? Yes, so we'll do it. Or is that particular army lacking it? Okay, so they need it. Yeah, exactly. And I think, does it add to the game? Does it make the game better? And I think obviously, we've got a terrific number of early adopters that have come in. I think we now want to get more and more people playing and getting excited about it. And then, the more people that are playing it, the more we can keep supporting it. With Armada, we're still getting new fleets coming out that are on the STL subscriptions, and will shortly be coming to our print on demand. So those that want them that don't have a printer because they stink, they'll be able to get it there. So for sure, I think we can keep adding little bits of flavour and maintain and keep supporting, because this range of plastics deserves a long time in the sun. Yep. Bill guided on that. Andy Thompson asks us, in your opinion, what's each race's favourite biscuit and why? Forge Father's rock cakes, probably. Oh, I thought you did there. Yeah, nice. That's got Elliot laughing. Yeah, that was a good one.
Marauders, wagon wheels.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. And then the Asterians would have something
Hobnobs.
with fine. Yeah, hobnobs. Yeah. That's the other IP. That's them down the road. They have knobs. We don't have knobs.
Oh, okay.
They probably don't have knobs anymore either.
There's probably a debate in the GCPS as to whether Jaffa cakes are biscuits or cakes. You know, who knows?
Could be very fine and balanced. Okay, so I think that's quite enough irreverence. Can we think of anything else? The Asterians that have something classy. Council of Seven, join our club. Right now, we don't know what. Paul Bright, really now you don't know what want to know my question would be. With a big smile, so okay, well we don't. When will the Night Stalkers enter from the void right into the Warpath universe?
How do you know they haven't? You never know.
Martin Gorzak has got the shut up and take my money meme. So, I mean, the great thing is we are in great shape with this. We don't know whether we'd bring it back for a second bite at Kickstarter and do 4 more factions, maybe do the flyers at that point or so on and so forth. But right at this stage, I think we've just done 8 armies. I think we all need to lie down, a little sleep. We've got Kings of War 4th landing in about 8 weeks' time. So this has had its run, and we'll kind of see where it is in 6 months when we've got all the factions out and come back to those things. Will third-party printers be able to print STLs of Epic Warpath, these jib prints? So, as I've mentioned a few times, we're going to be setting up a print on demand. And what we'll do is we will just take that and then ship it out to a local STL printer, and they'll print it off for you and send it to you. So why ship everything from the UK on print on demand when we can work with Tim over in the US, and he can print it and send it off to you. So yes, we will be doing that. It's going to take a bit of work, just getting that set up, but for sure that's coming down, and we hope to have it in place for 4th. Eric Inglesby asked me about Kickstarter, which we've handled. Hips Reb Sprues, this is Arthur Monteith. We've done the novels. Obviously, there is a Throwbox Enigma. We didn't get that in the campaign. We put it in the Pledge Manager. A lot of people missed that. So we'll probably make that available as a download, so you can download it to your Amazon Fire and read it that way. If it's on the store. There's probably a few more things you will need for your Epic Warpath armies, aren't they, at retail? So do add that book on. It's an absolute cracking read. Lots of short stories. So pick that up. I think I've got all those comments there. So that's that group. Elliot, have you got a few that we can be firing away as we're going?
Dev Slavin asks,
Hi, Dev.
what's the My Mini Factory campaign?
Good question. So what we're trying to do, I'm talking a lot, but you do the next one. We think there's a whole ton of people out there printing STLs, and they want to play official, beautiful games and turn up to tournaments with their 3D printed armies. And so we're going to take the STL files, which we made most of them available during the campaign for those that had printers. We're actually going to give them an option to just slightly upgrade and get everything that they didn't get for a very small amount of money. And they'll get that before anyone else gets it. And then we're going to go out to my mini factory in late October, and we're going to say to anybody who's got a printer, do you want to play Epic Warpath? Because if you do, you can buy the STLs and print these and play the game. And if you turn up to a tournament with it, we'll welcome you with open arms. Because even though you like that smelly, stinky printer in your house, we want people to play our games. We think our games are brilliant. We love it. We'll also do things like an essentials pack where you can actually get the rule book and some dice that you need, and the tokens all there. And they can be zapped. But all of them will be 3D printable, and you'll be able to 3D print and just download the rule book as a digital download. And that's because we don't want the audience for this game to stop where it is. We want it to double and double and double and grow and grow and grow. And we think that the STL people would love to participate in an official tournament-ready, brand new game. Armada got a new lease of life. We're still doing boats for that.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think it's ever replaced plastic. It's another thing. It's another channel, isn't it? It's another option.
Some people just don't buy plastics anymore. I personally, I'm buying these and I'm clipping those, and that's what I'm doing. But other people want to print, and if you want to print, there you go. Yep. And of course, it's complimentary in the campaign. You bought the plastics, which is a whole world of pain on printers, and the book and all the dice and all the things you needed, and then you could just take an STL option for all your super heavies and your everything else. Marcin asked us, will we be doing any battle reports?
Well, we did. I think it'd be good fun too. So we did that one that Alessia and I did very early on for the Kickstarter itself. You know, and the way we presented that, we really wanted it to be an old school style presentation, and I think that was quite fun to do. So yeah, I'd definitely be up for doing that again.
I did it on tabletop one. If you've not seen that, I took the stuff over to Jerry, and I went with Cleric, and we went and played there. Just a word of advice: if you're having a casual, relaxed game with someone, just because there's 2 super heavy tanks in the box, don't let them have 2 super heavies when you've only got 1. Because believe you me, they're A, petrifying, and B, I was throwing everything I could to get one down and just about got it down, and the next one rumps over the hill. If you've not seen it, it's a great battle report. It's over on tabletop. We'll also put it up in our Epic Hub, so you can watch it there because it's a great battle report. So and please, again, shout out to the community. If you love this game, go start playing it and video it, and we will share it. We've got lots of people. We've got guys doing lots of Champions videos right now. We've got people doing Dead Zone all the time. Kings of War still, of course, loads of those. So we are shouting out, please don't wait for us to do it. Go and do it yourselves, and we will take your great footage and syndicate it out, because we love to see what you're doing there. And then probably we'll thematic, and this comes to some of the releases. Next year, we'll probably do another Sci-fi summer, which is where we'll combine a focus on all things Warpath universe, both Epic new releases, Dead Zone new releases, and Firefight. Even if it's not in the summer, at some point we will have a focus, and we think that's the best way, and that's when we can really get behind the things. It's a very technical question. I'll put it on the spot here now. The Rangers are the only unit with a 6-inch range. Do you know why that? So why everyone else got 9 inches or 6 and 9?
Because they're very short.
Very short. They're Rangers, so they're not. Anyway, there we are. We'll have a look at that one while I read the next one.
I've got another game-related one.
Great.
Go on.
Just repeat this. For a first or demo game, how many points do you recommend?
For a demo game, I mean, you don't need probably. 750 to 1,000 points, I'd say. And
no super heavies in a demo, unless you want everything to be about the super heavy. You can see them here. You know, these change the whole profile. You know, this is where we were, and we've got some here that you can just see. You know, we can have them fighting. Actually, put the other one facing it. And there's just so much character in these miniatures here. And you know, I've just put some infantry in so you can get some kind of. These are quite big infantry, some jet bikes. You know, the idea of these zipping around and shooting them, just bullets bouncing off as it's rolling across.
They're sawn off lasers. Is the answer.
Okay. There you go, sawn off lasers. So I haven't got the name of that one. I'll check it out. But so super heavies give you this profile. They're kind of dominant and big, powerful pieces that take some doing. But of course, you know, cumbersome and an obvious target for taking lots of firepower. If someone picks them off, it's going to make a big hole in your army. Warpath themed terrain specific. So let's just talk a little bit about the terrain. We'll take the super heavies away. Just Matt, tell everyone about what you did with the terrain for this game.
So one of our sculptors. So we asked him, and he'd already done all of our stuff. So he'd already done all of our Dead Zone terrain for us. So I said to him, "Can you make me a new frame to go with your existing stuff that looks exactly like our Dead Zone terrain?" He said, "Of course I can, because I know exactly what your Dead Zone terrain looks like." So he did that, which is everyone got 2 free frames of in the Kickstarter. And we've mixed it in with his range. We didn't take everything from his range. Some of it was a bit too gothic. Yeah. So we picked the obvious bits, mixed them together, and I think it looks incredible. Yeah. And it is part of the how to take objectives, and everything's designed to take bases on the top. So all fully interactive. We spent ages on it. So some more pretty, some more absolutely functional. Yep. And there is in the retail range or in those Kickstarters, that doesn't really work. I'll show it to this way. You know, there is just a box with
predominantly the Warpath universe sprues, but a few other bits that just add colour and landing pads and so on and everything, so you can build tons of great terrain, whack it down on your battlefield. There isn't any instructions for those, I noticed that. Is that something that he's got on his site? Or?
He has got some on his site, but
So
of course
probably-
it's modular, so you can build what you like. So so
There isn't any set way of doing it, and the sprues come out. So just let your imagination run riot. There is no set sizes. And we'll grab, Elliot, would you just grab one of those from over there, and we'll show you that you can go from something as beautiful and as ornate as this to something as functional as that. And a couple of cubes high and a couple of cubes wide is all you need for. There we go, that's our demo terrain. A couple of each, and away you go, and you're up and running. So Elliot will flick those back there. Right, I think I've covered. That said, you know, we are thinking about how we can theme some of our other games with cool terrain. Right, Lee Montgomery's answered about 400 questions. Firstly, Zor. They were talked about and were famous in the early stages of the Warpath universe, but now not so much. Any plans for those?
I mean, we've got
Same
plans
answer as the
for all sorts, whether they ever see fruition. I mean, there are so many. I mean, Dreadball introduced so many races into the Dreadball universe. We obviously can't do them all. I'd love to do the Zor at some point. It's just whether it fits in, and of course, the more and more armies you have, you run out of design space for them and everything else, and then they start to overlap. So it may be that they feature in kind of a part of a combined army or something like that at some point.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we'll do is we've got 8 fantastic thematic beautiful armies. We're going to put that out. We're going to put some more things out for those, and then we're going to have a little sit back and go, right, what does the game need, and how can we what's going to make it better, what's going to make it more interesting. Firefight epic. Okay, so now we've done it in epic scale. When can we have it in firefight scale? E.g., the Hlock atmospheric fighter.
Well, I think that's where, you know, for us to tool something on these sorts of scales in 28mm in plastic is a big investment. You know, big capital investment and everything else, but because we've now got the Vault and the STLs, you know, that's something that Clive Stone, who's looking after that, is really invested in, and he's looking to take a lot of these models and blow them up, obviously redetail them and everything else into Firefight. So you will start to see a lot of the stuff that we've created here appearing on the Vault for print on demand or print at home. And I think that's very exciting. And some of the stuff he's made full scale, if you like, it looks incredible, really does.
Yeah, that's good. Some good stuff. Okay, so again, I'm going to work through a couple more of these, and that's what you're getting. Long term and scale permitting, yes, very much so. Is the answer? Sorry, I didn't realise I answered that. So again, Adrian Scott's got 47 questions. So flyer transports. I'm not going to do them all. I'm going to pick some of them, Adrian. So I hope we get the ones you will like most. As a transport, they can't deploy units if they go faster than their advanced move. But as a flyer, they can't move slower than their advanced move. Have I got that right? And if so, does that mean exactly a flyer's move, exactly the advanced move value? Doesn't sound like.
I would have to check.
Adrian, we're going to get you an answer to this one. Just Clive Stone will come on and answer, and we'll put it up as a FAQ if there's some unclearness about it, because that's just a. Requisite Revs question. We're only going to see them in Warpath. Oh, I see. When we see them in Warpath. When we see them in the Warpath, I think we've answered that one earlier. Again, it's faction permitting. They're probably more likely to hit Firefight first, Dead Zone first. Which factions were most least popular ones ordered for the Kickstarter? What about the Super Heavies ordered? Were there certain ones that were heavily favoured by players?
I don't think so. I think if someone took one, they took both in terms of the Super Heavies. I think probably Enforcers and Plague, which are the ones we led with, were probably the most popular.
Much. It was really weird. 700 odd orders, armies of each, and about 200 of the reinforcements for each.
Yeah, it wasn't like this one was double this one, was it?
There was none of that. It was really weird. And you know, you'd see the lots of, I just want 8 plastic armies, let's go, all the way through to the, I'm just taking vermin, I want the vermin, I want the reinforcements, and I want both super heavies. So there was really every, and one of the reasons it takes so long is, we're getting 100 orders out a day. These are 100. Every single order is bespoke. When we did Worms, there was 2 options: big, bigger, and you either got big or bigger, and that was it. And we just get them in a box. It came in a box. Everything was built. We put a sticker on it. We sent it out. We shipped the whole lot in 4 days, and that was double the number of backers. So, you've just got to be patient with this. We want to try and get it as right as we can. Even then, we still make mistakes. And he sorts them out, cleans up the mess. But it was there.
Yeah, I think everyone here either bought 1 army, 2 armies, or everything.
Yeah, and that was the option, wasn't it? 1, 2, 4, all. So anything planned with Epic Warpath the Vault? If so, reinforcements, the Kickstarter? Would you have anything planned, terrain, sculpts and add-ons? So it's probably going to live outside of the Vault, certainly for a while. It will be a bespoke. If you want it, you buy it, because we suspect a lot of the people that have a Vault subscription have also backed the Kickstarter. And so you don't want to be paying for a Vault subscription and getting something you've already got. So in time, I'm sure we'll start adding these some variants on this once it's got its audience, once a lot of people are playing it. And of course, when we've done the My Mini Factory, we expect there'll be a lot more people with prints, and they might come and join the subscription model for us, and then may want Epic stuff. So that'll be a choice down the line. Currently, we're sticking with our core games. Armada's got new stuff coming. There'll be some terrain. We're going to do quite a lot with Kings of War coming up. So not planned. I'm not asking that one because I don't think it's. I think it's a joke. It seems you planned what you did spruce. Seems as you planned what units. You planned what units would be on the spruce for each army very well before you finalised the army list themselves.
Yeah, so obviously with the armies that we already had, full armies for firefight, we could say, okay, well these are core. Enforcers have to have operatives. They have to have the peacekeepers, and so we could plan those out. It was a bit harder, but a bit more fun with the things like the nameless, because a lot of that just didn't exist, so we had to just invent things. But once the two kind of went hand in hand. The developing the frames early on and what a retail range might look like, because we weren't thinking about Kickstarter at the time, and how you would structure that, and then how that would how you would build that and how that would function in a game. Those two things kind of went hand in hand at the start. So if it looks like the frames were cleverly built for the game, they were. Because those two design processes meshed at the start, and it was all built around buy 6 frames and take the bits from those 6 frames, and it creates your 6 standard bases for infantry, or 3 for vehicles. So that was all very much baked in as part of the design process.
Were there any units that were difficult to translate from 28mm down to 10mm? And is there any that you think played particularly differently?
I mean, this at any scale, you can tweak the way that things behave because they are on a different scale. When things are an individual character versus when they're in a squad or in a big formation, you can always tinker with the way that they behave, as long as you don't go too far one way or the other, because then people say, well, that's not that unit. Were there any that are particularly hard to sculpt? I don't think so. Probably more the ones that we were inventing from scratch, because it's like, okay, well, what do they look like? So you obviously start with the visual cues that we've already got.
You've got to start with it, but you've got a whole design process and then the rules process.
Yeah.
The others was about that. Why is Ronnie so goddamn sexy? Dev slaving again. Thank you for that one. Elliot had edited that one out, but I thought I'd get it in there. Just want to hear about ongoing support. And I think what we're going to do, I'll talk about this sci-fi summer, where we'll go into a very sci-fi themed, and we'll treat all the games together. This is what we do with Armada and Kings of War. It's part of the world of Panithor. So we'll do a deep dive into all things Warpath. And we are getting close now. I've been doing about this for a while. It takes time and it takes a lot of players. Panithor's nearly there. The world is constantly changing. When we do a summer campaign, the abyss got bigger. The Helby's Rift opened up. the effect of Albus Rift opened up. You're just about to find out what that was. It's pretty game-changing. And what we've got a plan for is you're going to see the Warpath universe, and we're going to, I don't know how we're going to do this because it probably Kickstarter its own right, but zone into a place, look at that planet, and it's fighting, and then we're going to go, right, come on, who's on that planet? Let's get it fighting. Who wins it? The planet vanishes, the map. But all of these start telling a narrative story, and the story builds and grows. And we think, that's a great way of keeping, and ultimately, them as genuinely living. So every time you run a tournament, you just put your answers in, everyone's picked which faction they're in, and that goes, and each month a planet explodes, the Forge Fathers get more resource. How about if we even linked it to, once this happens, then they get a new kit. And I think that whole idea of the games that you play have an impact on what we release or on the map, I think is really cool and exciting. Or, this is the next army we do, Nameless. If you open this rift up, if we get this many games played, that happens, the rift opens. Yeah,
and I think we often say we're going to do that, and I think some people are probably quite cynical and go, oh, do they really mean that? Do the results of my games really have an effect? And they do. We often would say, okay, well, it's going to be A or B, but you decide. Yeah,
and we've got better now. We've got a little bit more headroom about being very explicit about that. You're not going to blow Panithor up. That's the world that the game lives in. Who would do that? Well, we've got a video about that next week, haven't we? But what we got into, the abyss is getting bigger. That's having an effect. The Brotherhood stopped being a compelling kingdom and essentially became a breakaway and a kind of broken kingdom realm. So all the time things are happening, and all the time the Panithor universe is getting stronger and stronger as the books are. And we're going to bring the same to Warpath. It's just a little bit further back, but this has been our Warpath love for the last, 12 months, 18 months really. Yeah. We had that sci-fi summer last year, which was great. We loved it. But all of our creative juices have been going into this. I'm just going to try for one more time. Epic Warpath. Not the Australians. We don't want to hear from them. Still them. Was there some questions on here?
You got anything else there,
I've got
Elliot?
some, yeah. To repeat this for me, for both of you, what's your favourite army?
What's our favourite armies?
Out of the 8 that are in Epic.
Yeah.
What did I do? I mean, the Nameless were quite fun to invent because we had to do that from scratch. They're nameless, so I can just kind of lean on the keyboard or mash it a bit to come up with the names. But they had to. What you were creating needed to feel coherent and cohesive with what did exist, and go back and look at the lore and things like that. And then it's quite fun to go back, dive back into Dead Zone and Firefight and look at some of the command orders and the things that they've done, and take those words and those themes through, and then work out how they develop into something on this scale. So from that point of view of kind of inventing stuff, the Nameless were quite fun. But I think the Orcs are another of the fun one. The Marauders, inventing their vehicles and things like that. So I think they're probably, for me, a little bit more fun than the kind of the Enforcers, who are the template superhumans. And I think the Plague we've got a lot of in the past. So it was the new stuff, I think, that was
Forge Fathers. Always going to be Forge Fathers. What else are they going to be? Of course, Forge Fathers. So there we go. That's answered. Finally, would the Ogre Terminators, wouldn't they look cool in the GCPS?
Yeah, absolutely.
They definitely would.
Yes.
That was another Lee Montgomery one. I keep finding those places and then I lose them again. But I think we've answered everything. Adrian Scott was there. So any more over there? Otherwise we are going to someone said, where are the videos on how to play? They were all done as part of the Kickstarter, so they're available on the YouTube and in the Epic Hub. So go looking for them over there. They've all been done, and they talk you through each stage of it, and the basic rules were already set before the campaign, so they're all done. Elliot, what else do we have?
There's a few people interested in the materials that we're using for the reinforcements, whether they're injection resin or 3D printed.
Okay, so we have the reinforcements in two materials. About 2/3 of most factions are on standard old school resin, and that's particularly the bigger pieces, the big lumps. So all of the super heavies,
all of these guys
are all in traditional resin casting, and then the very teeny tiny individual minis, which we weren't certain would stand up to casting, we hadn't quite thought about, they are 3D printed. So we've gone and bought some new 3D printers, and we're 3D printing those and doing them 200 per bed at a time. Well, not 200, but 50 per bed at a time, and we're sending those out. So everything's super glue, and everything should be washed and then undercoated before you go.
Matt Lee asks,
Hi, Matt.
Kings of War epic when?
Watch this space.
Yeah.
We are. I think a month ago everyone was like, "Oh, you don't love Dead Zone and Firefight anymore. It's only Halo that we love, and Kings of War's getting abused." I mean, I can promise you, our studio's working not quite around the clock. One guy did work around the clock, shipping out for some of the epic backers before the tariffs came in, but we are working really hard non-stop at the moment. We've got an SEO writing who've been working on Kings of War with us. We've got Ghost in the Shell roleplay game coming down the pipeline. We've got Dreadball working with the most famous man in the world on with us on that. So we are at absolute top speed at the moment. We actually need to take a little break, but we're working on everything. So we will do all those things, but we've got to pace ourselves and make sure that we don't rush from one project to the next and can support them and make sure that they land and feel good. And there's probably slightly been too big a gap between Armada and then Halo. Probably should have been 12 months earlier, but it was what it was. And now we've kind of done 3 in a year, which is kind of a bit manic. But we've done it, we know what we're doing, we'll get them out there. So yeah, others will be coming, watch this space. So, is that it? I think they were posted in 2 places. I think I've covered them all. There was a lot from Adrian. Scott, it wasn't the Australian ones, was it? The 23th, yeah, no, it was there. I'm just thinking, how can an Australian post it have 23 comments on it, but they're all Adrian Scott. So, Scott, Sam Rosenveld, nameless pictures. Next, can we upload Ronnie into a robot body so he can never rest? So that's good. And he's just talking about, I've been playing with 3D printed Asterians, and this is a brilliant way to run a Kickstarter. I can get painted before stuff arrives. So, again, asking about Nameless. My Mini Factory, answered that. It's going to be, we're basically getting to the whole game. It's going to come out in a month or 6 weeks. So watch this space. Sorry, it's 3 to 5 a.m. for Arthur down under. But you can watch it live on videos. And do you have any ideas for additional species from Greg James? And as I've said, I think we could possibly come back to Kickstarter and do 4 more. We could do them one at a time through trade. Watch this space. We love this game. We put too much love and effort and passion into it. I think it plays incredibly. I'm also absolutely stunned by how quickly people are getting their armies painted and done. And if you're not a member of either, I'll tell you the club names, but they are the Epic Warpath Fanatics. It's a great group. There's 1,800 people in there already. So go and jump in there on Facebook. Yeah. So there's a good group out there of people that are painting and sharing their hobby love.
Yep. And as I alluded to earlier, there is a rules committee for the game. So if, as people have questions, if we need to put an FAQ together of the common questions, we can do that. It's not a problem.
It's up on the companion already, Elliot, or going to go up?
Yes.
It's already up on the companion. And what can people get free?
2 lists.
Okay, so you can save 2 lists, so you can have 2 army lists. You've got the rule book, they'll be there. Yep. Can you buy the rules? Is the rules available there? Is this behind a paywall?
The extended rules in the list builder are behind the subscription to Epic Warpath.
Right. But there is a getting started guide up there? Or
basically, the entire rules is there as the living rule book for free.
Okay.
And so, can you also mention the languages you've got next to them?
Of course, I forgot that. So so there is a the rule book's up there. Go and have a look at it. Go and have a play with it. It's up there. Army lists, obviously you've just built those through the app. Beautiful, loads more Warpath universe. If you've ever run into it, please dive in. As you've heard here, there's a whole universe of things. All this background's in there. The paywall is allowing you to select as many armies as you want, and I think it's if you play one of our games, pick the $3.99 subscription. If you play two, just get the all in, and you'll get all the rule books for all of our games. The ability to have as many army lists as you want. You're essentially paying for server space and living rule books that you can search and look when you're playing a game. So it's all travels with you. You don't need to take this anywhere. This is going to be one of our first. We used some of the Kickstarter money, and we've got it in auf Deutsch. Natürlich, Regelnbücher hier sind jawohl sehr gut. We've got Italiano, Reglamento. They just add an O to anything. We've got another Reglamento, which is Spanish. They just add some other letter to everything.
It must be French somewhere.
And then we've got French, which is Livre de Règles. Livre de Règles. So this is beautiful. If you are a gamer, and there's a lot of those German ones gone out. Don't know why they seem to like tanks. So there's a lot of the international versions gone out. They're shipping out now. Again, they'll be available. I think there's some Crimstone, some of those online retailers will be stocking that. We'll have these on the Mantic website. So if you want to get into this game in your own language, it'll be there. If you don't want to ship it, it'll be there to download as a PDF. Or again, all the languages. Will all the languages be available in the Living Rulebook? Or are they just PDFs? Maybe. In the future. AI, when AI can do that for us, you can have it that way. But crudely, international game, we took a chunk of the money from the Kickstarter and put it into it. So everyone's got it in every language. So please, come join us. I think we're about done, aren't we?
I think so. If there's no more questions.
No.
So good.
Thank you for watching. Whether you watched it live or you're watching it afterwards, hopefully we've answered your questions. Hopefully this is a game you're going to get excited about. We love it. We're passionate about it. We're going to keep supporting it. The plastics are truly stunning. The rules are a genius. A combination of Matt and Alessio. The rules committees, the painters, the sculptors, everyone that's put effort into this has made something that's truly stunning. I think you should have done £20 billion on Kickstarter. That would have reflected the love we have for it. But I'm sure it'll rumble on at trade for a very long time. Everybody, thanks for watching.
Thank you.